Hey everyone, Satyam Brown here from Surya Health. Today I'm going to talk to you about a theory that says that self-esteem is conditional, that our pursuit for higher self-esteem in life causes us a lot of misery, and present a far better alternative than conditional self-esteem. The term self-esteem was first used in 1890 by American philosopher and psychologist William James in his Principles of Psychology. He suggested that self-esteem was of two kinds, self-satisfaction and dissatisfaction. Self-esteem arises from self-evaluation or the evaluation of others, thereby making it conditional. So conditional self-esteem is a form of conditional self-acceptance, often based on what we've put out into the world. So what are the benefits and the challenges of conditional self-esteem? Conditional self-esteem encourages productivity because you need to be able to produce and achieve more. The challenge to this is that we become overly focused on the end result in order to feel good about ourselves and less on how we got there. This can often lead to the abuse of our colleagues, our employees, and the environment. If our self-esteem is conditionally based on good outcomes, then there can be the tendency to procrastinate and avoid taking risks, as there is so much to lose. Another benefit of conditional self-esteem is that it emphasizes our physical and mental health. This can encourage us to look after ourselves and to have good well-being. But the problem with this is that these are not fixed states. Our body grows old, we get sick at times, and our mental health is not stable all the time. If we judge ourselves through the lens of our physical appearance, our abilities, and our mental health, then the tendency is to judge others in the same way. This can lead to people with differing abilities, mental health, and different appearance to feel that they are being judged and devalued in society. It can also make us feel shame or that we are weak when we are unwell or unable, rather than a natural thing that all living beings experience. Conditional self-esteem encourages us to be good people so that we are perceived as good people by others. This often causes us to be disingenuous. We get more caught up in manipulating how people perceive us rather than being authentic. Another benefit of conditional self-esteem is that it encourages us to develop our good traits, because these are a great source for self-acceptance. But the challenge to this is that we can easily become unbalanced and one-sided and just do that one thing or focus on that one thing, such as someone becoming a workaholic because that's where they're getting all their juice out of life and feeling good about themselves. It creates a lot of rules that we need to live by and that others around us need to live by as well for us to feel that we're okay. These rules are often cognitive distortions, which are exaggerated or irrational thought patterns that are created or feed states such as depression and anxiety. Examples of these are catastrophizing, jumping to conclusions, and all or nothing thinking. So what's the alternative? Albert Ellis was another American psychologist that developed rational emotive behavioral therapy. And his perception was that when we do conditional self-esteem, what we're actually doing is judging our totality of who we are based on our past and current traits, whereby if I do good, I am good. If I do bad, I am bad. Now those statements may sound a little familiar because, to be honest, that's how most of us were raised by our parents and the way that we were schooled by our teachers. If we did an act that was naughty, then we were told that we were naughty. If we did something that was good, we were told that we were good. Compared to a statement like, my tolerance is really low at the moment, and what you're doing, I'm finding irritating. So what's the alternative to conditional self-esteem? Albert Ellis believed that the totality of who we are is far too complex to do global judgments based on our individual acts or even the accumulation of these individual acts. And that what is far better is to have something called unconditional self-acceptance, where for the simple fact that I am alive, I am good. That we can still critique the acts that we do as good or bad, but it doesn't touch our unconditional self-acceptance. We critique the steps that we took, both in our thoughts, our actions, and anything else that was involved that led to that outcome. If it was an undesirable outcome, I change the steps and therefore avoid that undesirable outcome in the future, and vice versa if I critique it as good. This type of approach provides more potential for positive change in your life because you're constantly learning about what is actually contributing to a good outcome or a bad outcome. It can also diminish the amount of shame that we feel, as this approach allows us to always remain a work in progress, rather than have global labels that I am never good enough and I am not worthy. Shame is demotivating because the risk is, if I fail, I'll prove myself right. So some may ask, if I'm not using my self-esteem for my purpose or my motivation, where is my motivation to do anything? One of the answers to this is that we do things simply for the enjoyment of doing it well or challenging ourselves to do it better. Another solution is to become aware of what your core values are. If you live according to your values, you live a very fulfilling life. A suggestion is to do an internet search on core values list and then write down all the ones that resonate with you. Then narrow the list down to your top 3 values. Then reflect on if these core values are present in the different areas of your life. This is just one of many different psychological approaches for working with self-esteem. Some food for thought. Why don't you give it a try and see what happens next? Thank you. Bye-bye.